So speaking of the NFL and just them going along with this transgender ideology, this mother brags about her trans daughter going through menopause caused by hormone blockers. Now, this is a crazy title there. I mean, that sounds insane. And it really is. It really is, if you actually dig down into what's going on here. So, a mother of a gender-confused child recently boasted that her daughter, who identifies as a boy, is going through so-called early menopause due to the hormone blockers she has the child on. So, Carolyn Tate is the name of the mother from Brisbane, Australia, wrote in April that her gender-confused daughter is going through early menopause and she's so proud of him. Crazy. It just is insane. It's really insane. So, she goes on and actually says in here, my 15-year-old son started feeling nauseous and a bit off a couple of weeks ago. He skipped dinner and headed to bed early, but the next morning, he still wasn't himself. The nausea had lifted, but it was replaced with sweats and hot flashes. She goes on to say, it was when we started Googling the symptoms that the penny dropped. My son was going through menopause. Tate took her daughter to a gender clinic that she has been frequenting for years since her daughter was born, a girl, but knew from a young age that inside he really wasn't a girl. As of age 12, she said her daughter knew she wasn't a girl. Since her child can't medically transition at the age of 15 years old, Tate put her on puberty blockers. When the child turns 16, Tate says she will put her on testosterone, which should impact her fertility, according to the St. Louis Children's Hospital. In other words, it's going to chemically castrate her, okay? She's not going to be able to have children. If that's something that they chose to do, it wouldn't happen. The drug prevents the girl's body from making estrogen, Tate said. Once that estrogen tide goes out, that's when a short and sharp menopause can hit. Apart from that, the only side effect is potential bone brittleness from a loss of calcium. So we're being vigilant about ensuring she's keeping up with his vitamins, she said. So really what you're talking about here is something very, very, very dangerous. It's dangerous territory that these left-wing people are entering into. And it's really sickening that they're doing this to their own child and pretending as if this is perfectly fine. Right here, you literally have this woman that is giving her daughter puberty blockers. These people, by the way, treat sex and puberty, things like that, as if it's something that you can just play around with. Just screw around with nature and it'll be okay. That's the way they see it. Because it's just like, oh, we'll just put puberty on hold, right? What's the big deal? We'll just stop it. Not because it's necessary. Keep in mind, puberty blockers are not necessary. It's the reason why they're doing it is because they don't want their actual biological daughter to go through having a period, going through the normal puberty processes. They don't want her to have it. But so menopause is okay? That's all of a sudden perfectly fine with you? Yeah, I don't think so. Not in my world. Not in my world. The thing is that you have to really take into consideration what this is doing to her daughter. That's really the key. I mean, ultimately, this is sterilization. That's what's going to happen. Even if you put her on testosterone later, that's what's going to happen. There's plenty of studies, by the way, showing that by putting children that age on puberty blockers and just assuming it's just no big deal. First of all, I don't even like the name puberty blockers. That is a lie. That name is another way that the left uses words to try to construct their own meaning, their own narrative, okay? So the actual drug, and there are several, but one of the main drugs used, by the way, for a puberty blocker is this drug called Lupron. If you've never heard of this, I wouldn't be surprised. But this drug, Lupron, is actually used or was used to chemically castrate sex offenders. Sex offenders. You're giving this crap to children and applauding it? Meanwhile, if something happens where, once again, we've seen many studies showing that 90% of these kids grow out of this transgender idea stuff, they grow out of it at a later age, like a lot of kids do with a lot of things. Even with that being taken into consideration, if something happens where they say, you know what, I want to go back, they'll never be able to have children. Ever. And they're going to, all the while, turn back, as we've seen with many other women that have detransitioned, or whatever they want to call it, gone back to their actual regular gender, when they do that, they all of a sudden realize, who are these people that told me this was okay? It's my parents. It's the doctors. Why did you let me do this when I was 12 years old? Why didn't you talk some sense into me at that time? But by that time, it's too late. It's too late because the damage is done. And this mother is applauding it. Literally applauding it. This is child abuse. You're giving drugs to your child that were meant to castrate a sex offender and calling it a puberty blocker, sterilizing them, all because your child just told you so? Yeah, I don't think you're going to be winning any Parent of the Year awards anytime soon for that kind of behavior. You just watched a clip from The William Hall Show. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe.